So now I'm going to predict the Premier League from 20 to 1, and I'm going to look at who's going to be relegated all the way to the title winners in the top 4, as well as the Golden Boot winner and all of that. So here we go on screen. I want to thank the person who made this. This is a cool page made by somebody in the Patreon. It's even got my logo on it. How cool is that? Thank you to them for doing that for us. So starting, it's easy. The first team that's going down is Leeds. Leeds are getting relegated. Daniel Farke, very good at promoting teams, very good at relegating teams, and it's Leeds. They're going back down. They're not staying in the Premier League. I don't think they're ready. The way that Farke tends to play, they almost always are very good in the Championship and very bad in the Premier League. They get absolutely ripped apart, okay? The second one is Burnley. I just don't think they're going to be good enough. I think there's a big gap in the Premier League these days as well. And I think it's more likely than ever, in my opinion, that Championship clubs that get promoted get relegated almost right away. I think that just happens a lot. Now, I know a lot of people want me to say Sunderland here, and a lot of people probably don't, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Sunderland. I like what they do. I like what Sunderland do. So it's not going to be them. It's going to be our friends Brentford. Because they've lost a lot. Oh, shit. Go down. Go down, Brentford. Uh-oh. Where are you? There it is. I'm going to pick Brentford. I'm going to pick Brentford as my third candidate to get relegated. No Mbumo. They've got issues with Wissa. They've lost a few people. They've lost their coach. I think that Thomas Frank was keeping them up. I think Thomas Frank was a big part of what made Brentford tick, and I think that Brentford have a good chance of being relegated this season. Now, who else has a good chance of being relegated this season? Well, I think Wolves are going to be quite poor. They're going to be nearing the bottom of my table, losing Cunha. They were getting a little bit better towards the end of the year, but then I think that they lost some of their good players, and I just think they're going to struggle a little bit. Following that, I think Sunderland are going to stay up, but I don't think they're going to be particularly good. So this final spot, like these two are more of a lock to me. Burnley and Leeds, I think, are more of a lock to me to go down. But I think that Brentford, Wolves, and Sunderland are going to be in the battle here. And then I have one more, and you might not like it, and people are going to struggle with this because they've been good recently, but we're going with Crystal Palace, and I'm going to tell you why. At this point in time, I think they're not necessarily going to be in a well, how do I change it? There you go. Not necessarily be in a relegation battle. I don't think they will get relegated, but I think they're going to struggle because they're in Europe, because they've made 0 transfers, and because they're going to end up getting injured and having a hard time. They have a good manager. They have a good team. They have some good players, but the addition of Europe is going to hurt them a lot in that Conference League. Those extra games, the extra competition, and the fact that they've bought nobody is going to cause them problems. They already have players who get injured. They already have issues in that respect, and I think that is going to hurt them there a bit. I don't think they'll get relegated, but I think they're going to struggle a bit more in the league. Look, they got, 12th last year? They might lose Eze as well. They got 12th last year. 12th again, who gives a fuck? They've won the FA Cup. They're going to struggle. They'll probably be in the 15th to 16th bracket. They could be around there. They weren't like good in the league last year. Following that, I really rate Andoni Areola. I think they have enough attack to stay up. So I'm going to go with West Ham because I still don't know what they're doing. And then we're going to pull down Bournemouth into this position as well because they've lost some key people here, but I really do rate Areola, and I think they have enough forwards to keep them up and keep them doing all right. But there you go, 2-2. Thomas Frank is a fraud. You heard it here first. What happened? Bottling a 2-goal lead. He's already got Spurs DNA. Thomas Frank, perfect manager for Tottenham Hotspurs. All that praise sounds pretty shit now, doesn't it? He's already implemented his bottling tactics that quickly. That's what I hear. Um, Gonzalo Ramos, too. Kang and Liam, Gonzalo Ramos, two players that I really like scoring goals today. There you go. Anyway, let's keep on. Let's keep on with this. After Bournemouth, who else? I think Forest massively overachieved. I'm dragging them down here. In fact, I think Nottingham Forest were far and away the biggest overachievers last year. They're not that good. They play counter-attacking football, and they lost Anthony Elanga, one of their best players, for said style. I think that's going to hurt them quite a bit. They could even, in my mind, finish lower. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Yeah, they could even finish a little bit lower than that. So I think that that Forest are potentially in trouble. Fulham are always a little bit better than expected. I think Brighton are I'm going to stick Brighton in here, though. I don't think they'll be very good this year as well. I think they're going to be difficult. I think they're going to struggle a bit. I know I'm very boring in predicting most of the good teams, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. Then we're going to pull Fulham. I have the biggest trouble. I don't think they've made enough improvements this year. Here's what my feeling in general, all right? And I think it's a little bit boring to look at it this way. A lot of the mid-table to lower tier clubs have been ripped apart this summer, okay? A lot of them have. If you look in the transfer window, if you looked at what's happened so far, a lot of the clubs outside the big six have been torn to shreds with their best players getting sold and being pulled apart this year. And I think it's the big six have spent a lot of money, and the rest of the clubs have gotten a lot weaker. And it's one of those years where it does that kind of momentum shift and all of that happening. And a few of them have Europe, and they're going to really struggle as well. So I think it's going to be semi-boring in that we're going to get the usual top 8 in the top 8. Everton, they've got a new stadium. David Moyes, I like David Moyes. And I think that his very physical bully style is going to keep Everton in a good position as well into the top 10. Borderline top 8, we'll see. They could fall down to 9th, 10th, or 11th, but I think that the way they play is going to be fairly decent. They could be lower, though. I'm a little less confident in them, but they've got the new stadium. I think David Moyes is an experienced Premier League manager and will have them doing okay. And like I said, I think other clubs have fallen apart a lot, and I think that they've managed to not get ripped apart. Unless I'm forgetting something, am I missing anything on the transfers from Everton? What have they done? And they haven't done well in their window, but they haven't lost major players, have they? That's kind of the biggest thing. Next, I'm going to go with Newcastle. I think Newcastle are going to struggle. They're going to lose Isak. He's refusing to play for them. I do not rate the moves that they've made in the window at this point in time. I think they're going to really have a hard time scoring goals. They've lost Isak essentially, and they've brought in Anthony Elanga. They're physical, and that'll keep them competitive, but with multiple competitions and all of that, and the loss of Isak, they're far and away their best player. There's just no way that they can be that good. I think their attack is going to fall down a lot. Yeah, I thought Everton have done quite well. Yeah, they've got a few decent players in, but they've got a few 6th to 8th rate players and things like that. When you save the table and you finish, it'll create a share link. Okay, thank you for that. But, Newcastle will be decent, but I don't think they're going to be very good. I don't think they're going to be nearly as good as they were. They've had a bad window. Following that, I'm going with Aston Villa, who I also don't think have had an amazing window. I do rate Unai Emery. I rate his runs in Europa. They could be lower. They lost Asensio, they lost Rashford, they've lost Ramsey. They've made some good signings. I think Guisan from Nice is a good player. They could end up here. Like these two could very much interchange, and Everton could fall down here for sure. It gets a little muddy in this respect, but I don't think they're going to be very good in general. Then we go Tottenham. I think Tottenham have done Tottenham things in this window, but I think they're going to struggle. I just don't think they're going to be that good. There's still certain things I don't rate about them. I still think their back line is just going to be injured constantly. I think they made good 6th, 7th signings. Then you get to the top 5, and you're saying, well, shit, you've already got United in the top 5. You're goddamn right I've got United in the top 5. What kind of fan are you? I'm going to keep United in the top 5 no matter what. I said, if we get a striker, we will get Champions League. If we get a striker, we will get Champions League. Now, look, there might be more signings here. This is today, okay? This is today. But I believe that if we had the front 3 we have now, even last season, I think we would have finished around 6th or 7th, and I think we're going to be even better. I think 5th will get Champions League this year, for sure. For United, it would be hard to justify putting United over anybody else, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. Chelsea are going into 5th for me. Way too much hype on Chelsea right now, simply because of the Club World Cup at this point in time, simply because of they have this apparent momentum, but they've had so many changes. I think people vastly underrate the effect that it has on the team to constantly be chopping and changing your team like crazy every single season. That's just, I think people underrate that aspect. That's my view on it. Yeah, I don't care. This is where I'm at. All right. So Chelsea, I think, will be in 5th. Now, you might say, James, what are you doing? You've got Manchester United in the top 4. And you're goddamn right, I have Manchester United in the top 4. And they're not just going to be in the top 4. No, seriously. It's considering we don't have Baleba today, I will not be adding United to first place. I can tell you that right now. I will not be saying United win the league. But I am on record. I am on record saying if we were to get Baleba and a keeper, title charges on. Well, we don't have either, and we're probably not going to get a keeper. So even with Baleba, I probably can't put us into title-winning position or in the charge there. I can't. All right? I can't justifiably do that, even though it would make for great content. I have to be realistic in my predictions. So I'm going to put United in 2nd. No, I'm kidding. I'm sticking United here in 4th. I think that 1 game a week, I think will look good. I think we're going to struggle to start the season a little bit. I think we'll probably be in 5th through 7th for the first 2-3 months of the season. And then second half of the season, we will really find our form and we will climb up. We might get higher than 4th, honestly. But yeah. Next. You know, I really don't want to pick a title winner. I really don't. Next, I'm putting Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to struggle a bit more than you think. I think Liverpool are going to struggle a bit more than you think this season. I don't rate Florian Wirtz yet. I'm probably going to be totally wrong for that. I think Ekitike actually looks really good. I think it's a lot of chopping and changing for Liverpool, and I think their defense sucks. And I think we're going to start to see the flaws in Arne Slot's system a lot more this season. Then it comes to 2, and you know what? Here's the thing, guys. Arsenal can't win the league. They just can't. I don't think they can win the league. I don't think Arsenal can win the league. It's just, to me, it's just not possible that Arsenal can win the league. They're incapable of winning the league. Now, look, bear in mind something. You're right. Even with Isak, could Liverpool win the league? Yes. They could. They sure could. If they get Isak, I will bump them up to 1st or 2nd for sure, because they will have enough firepower to carry them. Right now, I think Ekitike is a good link-up player. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's going to score enough goals, and I don't think that they have enough goals in the team as of yet to get 1st, and that means the title goes to Manchester City. Now, that sounds crazy. Manchester City have struggled. Manchester City have gone through a lot of overhauls. But Arsenal won't win the league. Arsenal won't win the league. They just can't. Arsenal cannot win the league. And I don't think their business this summer has been that good. Saka has to prove he can stay fit, for one. Madueke is an upgrade on Martinelli, but I don't trust Arteta to make the right choices there. Gyökeres is better than Havertz, but I don't think he's going to work with Arteta particularly well. I think in the midfield, losing Thomas Partey and replacing him with Zubimendi is going to make them worse. I think they're half and half. I think they're right in the middle, and they're going to be about as good as they were last year. I don't think they've gotten better. I'm not sure if they've gotten worse. They might have. I don't think they can win the league competing on all fronts. I don't think they've done that. I think Manchester City have the best team still. You know, they've done a fuckload of investment. They've bought a lot of players. Now, look, the truth of the matter is, I think that if you go through this and look at it, it's kind of boring that I've picked all the big clubs into the top half this year, but I think that is very likely just because of what's happened in the window with so many teams, with so many teams getting ripped apart, and at the lower half and these clubs performing. Now, look, there are potential changes in here. There are potential changes in this, okay? If City can get Rodrigo, they've got people to add. They've got a good team in place. They've got a strong team in place. If Rodri's back and healthy and stays healthy, then they'll win the league. If Isak moves to Liverpool, then I'm putting them. Then I think they'll get second or first. If we get Baleba, I'm moving us up a little bit. But the reality is, you can disagree with me all you want, and that's okay. I believe, man. I have it in my heart. I think the top 5 is a total toss-up. I think it is as much a toss-up as it has ever been right now. I think it's a toss-up. I think it could change dramatically, and I think that it's nearly impossible to predict this top 5 and who is going to finish where from these 5 teams. And you're going to say, well, how are you including United in there? Don't care. I'm including United in there because I think we have the second best attack in the Premier League as the front 3. If Šeško hits, if Šeško is even good, we will have potentially the best attack in the Premier League unless City get Rodrigo, and then I can't say that we have the best attack in the Premier League. But you look at it statistically, if Šeško is good, we probably have the best front 3 on paper in the Premier League. And I think that is extremely underrated. I think that is extremely underrated in its effect on where you finish in the table. I don't know when football became this, but the simple fact is usually scoring a hell of a lot of goals helps you, and we will score a hell of a lot of goals with them. So that's my take. That's my table. Manchester City, unfortunately, title winners as it stands today. If we make signings, I may revisit this at the end of the window and see where we're at. So obviously adding in Baleba, I feel more confident about this. But it's hard. It's hard. If Isak moves to Liverpool, that's going to change things. If we get Baleba, that's going to change things. So we will see. Now, in addition, I want to say that I think that our top scorer, I said before, is going to be Cunha, and he's going to get 15 goals or more in the league. Secondly, the Golden Boot. The Golden Boot. Who is the Golden Boot winner for the league? It's going to be Haaland, or it's going to be Isak if he goes to Liverpool. Haaland or Isak, and it's going to be one or the other. Tell Mrs. Well, I'm glad we didn't buy him. Another one people were clamoring for, and he's been pretty poor for Spurs. Haaland, Golden Boot is Erling Haaland unless Isak gets that move to Liverpool. And then I think it'll be Isak. So those are my picks. And depending on when, because if Isak misses 3 games, that might be enough to lose him the Golden Boot, to be quite honest. That might be enough to miss the Golden Boot. But I think Haaland, I think that City are going to be a little bit more direct in the way that they play through the striker this year again and score a lot of goals. So I do think that it is going to be Haaland. It's going to be Haaland winning the Golden Boot. If Isak goes anytime soon, it could be him at Liverpool. If it's not to the last day and he misses 3 matches, then I don't think that he will win the Golden Boot even with the move. So if Rodrigo goes to City, well, yeah, that helps them too. But look, I just think that, I just think at the end of the day, That's where we're at. So one more time looking at it. City, Arsenal, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Villa, Newcastle, Everton, Fulham, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Sunderland, Wolves, Brentford, Burnley, Leeds to be relegated, barring further changes in the transfer window. So I could probably revisit it at that point in time. But that's what I have for my predictions and the golden boot for Erling Haaland or Isak if he gets to move very soon. But otherwise, I think it's going to be clearly Erling Haaland this year.